Most people think that just switching to barefoot shoes alone is enough to change their life. Unfortunately, that just simply is not the case. There's actually a lot of groundwork that needs to be done in order to see those benefits that you've been reading about. So if you're going to be making that transition, you're going to want to start here. As we make this transition to barefoot training, we have to understand the true function of the feet. Now, it's going to come down to two things: stability and feedback. Stability is quite simply, this is your foundation. This is where you are connected to the ground. So if you are not able to use the muscles of the feet to properly stabilize yourself, then it's going to send feedback up the rest of the kinetic chain onto the nervous system that, hey, we are unstable here and we need to not perform at our fullest potential, because we're going to risk injury because we can't actually get a good grounding. We can't actually stabilize ourselves. The first thing I want you to understand is the joint by joint approach. And this is just simply stated that if a joint is not functioning properly or doing what it's supposed to do, it's going to put unnecessary stress on the other joints around it that could cause potential injury down the road. Now, we're going to start at the toes. So the toes are supposed to be mobile, the feet are supposed to be stable, ankles are mobile, knees are stable, and hips are mobile. Now, if the feet aren't working properly, and this is what's connected to the ground, then it's going to put unnecessary stress onto the knees. And that in turn is going to put unnecessary stress onto the hips. And that's going to continue up the kinetic chain. Now, when this happens, it's also going to be sending feedback to the nervous system to put a restriction on your strength and to put a restriction on your performance, because something is not operating properly. Until you fix that, you are going to be forever inhibited. And also, when you're trying to push past those barriers and you haven't fixed those underlying issues, it puts you at risk for injury. So allowing the feet to function how they were designed to function and create that stability that's really required to become a faster runner, to become more dynamic, to become more explosive, and to become stronger and effective, then we need to make sure that we cover this groundwork and get the feet functioning properly as we transition to barefoot training. So I'm going to be covering 3 things that you need to start doing today if you're going to be making that transition to barefoot training. And be sure to stick around to the end for my favorite bonus tip that most people don't really cover when they talk about transitioning to barefoot training. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is create some space in these toes. They've been crammed up in a shoe for so long that they no longer are able to splay out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start by just holding hands with my foot. I'm going to put my fingers in between each toe, and I'm going to push them as far as I can tolerate. Now, it's going to be really uncomfortable at first, but as you get used to this and as those toes start to splay out more and more, it's going to get a little bit more comfortable. Now, uncomfortable is okay, but pain is not. So if it's something that's painful, you're going to want to dial it back just a little bit, because more is not always the answer. So we're just going to create circles here with the foot. We're going to do this for about a minute. You're going to want to also change directions and go forward and back here as well to create that space. Now, bonus points is if you spend about 10 to 15 minutes in toe spacers every single day, will really help you out with this toe splay, and it'll also help with the discomfort that you're going to end up feeling in this exercise. Next, we're going to go ahead and roll out our feet with a lacrosse ball. Now, we're just going to be working from the ball of the foot to the edge of the heel, starting from the inside of the foot, working our way to the outside of the foot. Remember, discomfort is okay here, but pain is too much. Go ahead and scale it back. Once you have gone all the way to the other side, go ahead and set the heel down with the ball at the ball of the feet and flex and extend those toes over about 4 times. You might get a good crack out of these toes once we do release. Now the next exercise is called short foot. Now to do this exercise, all we're doing is I'm starting off here on one knee. You could also do this standing. We'll only want to focus on one foot at a time until we're able to figure out how to actually generate this movement. Now the short foot exercise is just creating an arch of your foot here. So we're thinking about from the ball of the foot, which is right here, to the edge of the heel, there. Now you just want to drag that ball of the foot towards your heel and you create that arch. Now, oftentimes this might be really difficult to control. And what you might What you're going to find is yourself doing this where you're dragging the toe and the ball of the foot is actually coming off of the ground. That's not quite the arch that we're looking for. We actually want to keep that toe down and drag the toe along the ground as we drag the ball closer towards the heel. Now, if you can't figure out how to do this, try to give your foot just a little bit of a brush with your finger just to get some sensation there in the nerves, so that way your foot knows what it is that you're trying to actually move, and just keep on repeating this. This could be timed for about 1 minute is a good place to start. Now, before I get to this final tip here, I just want to ask a huge favor and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you received any value at all from this video. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any questions, let me know there as well, because I'll be happy to get back to you. Now, if you know somebody who is also going to be making a transition or thinking about making a transition to barefoot shoes or barefoot training, and they don't really know where to start quite just yet, send them this video because this is a great place to start. Now, I also have a 2-week program available that's going to help you transition to this barefoot training, and it's going to have a workout on there every single day for you with videos for you to follow along with. I hope to see you there. That's in the link below. So my last and final tip here for you is to spend some time outside on different textures with bare feet. Now, I'd really challenge you to take a look into your environment and see what is around you, what is, hard, what is soft, what is going to be pokey, right? All of these things are factors that are going to help your nervous system become a little bit more healthier, become a little bit more dynamic, be able to respond a lot quicker when you are getting knocked off balance, because your foot has so much nerve ending, so much information that's being able to be processed through it. So that way you're going to be able to regain your balance a lot faster. So this is my favorite tip. This is one thing that I don't really see talked about too often, but is come to my attention through years and years of functional performance training. And this is one thing that I always challenge my clients to do. So catch you on the next one. And if this helped, I really hope that I'll see you on the 2-week program that I have available to help you restore function of your feet, so that way you can transition to barefoot training a lot quicker.